Today is one of those really strange weather days where you don't really want to go outside, and it's weekend and my husband usually goes fat biking. Here's a shameless plug for his channel. If you like fat biking, go over and visit that. So he's not fat biking today, so I can nab him up to get a repair done in the house. We designed and built this many years ago, like 15 years ago now, and I've been 15 years with this dangerous basement door. It was installed wrong in the first place, and as you can see, here's what happens. When you open up the door, it goes down to the basement, and this is not good when you're coming back up. So if you're coming up the basement stairs here and you have something in your hand, you actually have to back down the stairs in order to open the door towards you, and this is a safety issue. So we need to flip the door, and that's what we'll be doing today. Is we tried to figure out what's the simplest way to flip this door without having to purchase new casing, because what happens once you have your door, here's like the door stop, and we already have it gouged out for the door latch right here, and the hinges on the other side. So if we just flip the door itself, then we're going to have the notches over here that will still be there and need to be filled. So that's one option. Or we can take the whole casing and all out and flip the door. But if we do that, see, we'll have the depth right here right now, and on this side there's a shallower depth, so then we'll have a shallower depth on this side, and so it'll look a little different than it does right now. So we're gonna weigh the options and see if we're gonna flip the door and end up having to have some extra notches on the other side that may need to be filled, or if we'll take the whole frame out and flip the frame. And if we flip the door without the frame, we're also going to have to move these door stops as well. So then we'll go ahead and make this door a little more safe. We want the door now to swing open this way against this wall, otherwise it'd swing open against the door, and swing back over the main floor rather than down over the basement, which will be a lot safer. So we decided to go for a full frame flip of the door, and the first step now is he will carefully take these moldings off from around the door. So what you're going to need for a project like this is a few extra shims. Has a nail gun there, a saw, a hammer, a pry bar, and a small pry bar, a couple of levels, and yeah, we'll show you as we go. Now, if you have a traditional style home, your moldings may have been caulked on, so you might want to check first and run a blade along the caulking. Ours wasn't, but we have some pin nails, so we're going to have to pull these out and for the reinstall. And I'll just carefully pry off the trim, and then I'll show you the next step. So as he took off the pieces here, he's just marking them right and left so we don't get them mixed up when we put them back up. And it's just a quick little thing to do, so it makes it easier when you're reinstalling. So to remove the nails from the trim, going to tap them back like that, and then you just flip the board over, grab your pliers, and pull it out. And after removing the trim, you can see some nails pulled through and are left in the wall, so we'll clean those up as well. Just use the pliers and pull them out. So now that we have all the trims off, he's just going to place a little brace along the bottom of the door frame, since the top is already braced essentially in its structure. So we're just going to put a brace on there to keep everything all in line. So in order to detach the door frame, we have little pin nails in here that we're going to cut, and he has this Milwaukee multi-tool cutter, and he'll just poke that in there and cut off the pin nails. So we found a few nails that were in a little deeper than the multi-tool could reach, so he had to bring out these big guns here with a longer blade, and we'll get in there and get the rest of those nails. Now that we have all the nails loose, just going to pry the door box out. The door locked closed inside of it. We're just giving this a try. Not sure if we'll need to remove the door or not, but figured it'd keep it more square. And out it is. And now we'll have to flip it around. So just as we did when we're removing the trim, he's just cleaning up the frame there, making sure there's no bits, ends of the nails that we cut, and pulling them out, and then we'll flip the door. Alright, here's now time for the flip, and we'll see what happens. I'm going to take a little bit of maneuvering and get it in there. Ah, looks like it fits pretty good. So now he'll just have to put some new shims in around, and we'll put everything back together, make sure that the door swings good, and now we'll have a much safer door. So a very uncommon thing to happen in home renos or fixing things around the house is it just worked out perfect. So we turned the door, popped it in, it's all in level, and it even swings perfectly. Just swings and latches. It's great. So now he'll get some shims and just re-shim it up around here, nail it in, put the trim back on, and we have the opposite swing on our door. Okay, so to shim it out, you just fill in the gaps with the small shims of wood there. And then just pop a nail in. And then just cut off the excess piece of shim. And go along where there's any gaps and where you need to shim it out, and continue to do that. So here it is, all finished, and it took about 2 hours to get it done, and it should have been done this way in the first place, but when you're getting a house constructed and sometimes people are rushing, sometimes little things are overlooked like this, and it can be a little bit of a pain in the arse. So getting the door flipped back around so that it opens properly, and now we can go down the stairs without having to back up. So it feels so much bigger too. I don't know what that is, but so we can come up the stairs now. And if the door is closed, no more having to back down over the landing, and just come out and come on up.